When people picture London, they usually think of Big Ben, the royal family, maybe the London Eye. But the London I've gotten to know starts on a plate. In this video, I'm eating my way through the city to show how different foods, Indian, British, Vietnamese, Japanese, Nigerian, and Korean, tells the story of London as a global multicultural center of British pop culture. So my first stop is Indian food. Butter chicken with garlic naan from Papa Don Indian Kitchen. This dish is a part of a much bigger history. In a 2015 article called Empire Food in the Diaspora of Indian Restaurants in Britain, Ravi Arvind Palat explained how so-called Indian restaurant emerged from British colonial ties with South Asia and from post-war migration from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Over time, curry houses spread across British high streets and became part of everyday British dining rather than being treated as ethnic food. So when I tear off a piece of naan and dip in this sauce, I'm tasting more than a good meal. I'm tasting the legacy of empire and the way South Asian communities helped reshape what British food even means. Next stop, Brick Lane. I actually came here for Chinese takeout at the Upmarket Food Hall. Sociologist Claire Alexander calls Brick Lane an iconic East London street and shows how it became a space for Bengali diaspora, layered with Bangladesh restaurants, market, and cultural symbols. In her 2011 article, Making Bengali Brick Lane Claiming and Contesting Space in East London, she argues that Brick Lane is constantly being claimed, contested, and remade by different communities. Stating here, eating Chinese food in a historically Bangladesh area surrounded by vintage shops and tourists, you can literally see how London's identities overlap. South Asian history, Chinese street food, hipster market, all colliding in one place. I couldn't talk about London without trying a full English. This is my most traditional British meal of the trip. Historian Kaori O'Connor calls the English breakfast a national meal. In her book, The English Breakfast, The Biography of a National Meal, she traces how this heavy fry-up developed over century from big country breakfast to a symbol of working class and middle class Britain in the industrial era. Today, I am eating at this cafe where the staff and customers come from all over the world. The breakfast is British, but the people, ingredient, and context are completely global. It shows how older traditions sit alongside London's newer, more multicultural food culture. This is one of my favorite food spots in London. Borough Market might look like a simple foodie hotspot, but it's actually a piece of living history. Geographer Benjamin Cole described it as a topography of London's past and present in his 2014 photo essay, Making the Marketplace a Topography of Borough Market, London. He shows how the arches, railway lines, and Victorian structures tells the story of changing trade routes and food systems. As I eat classic fish and chips next to a stall selling food from every continent, Borough Market turns into a map of London's evolution, from local wholesale market to an alternative global food destination where British staples sit next to falafel, paella, and street tacos. This was actually one of my first stops in London when I got here. Vietnamese grilled pork bone and spring roll at Ngon Ngon. Researcher Sue Begal studied Vietnamese entrepreneurs in London in her 2014 article, Transnational Entrepreneurship Amongst Vietnamese Businesses in London. She found that many Vietnamese businesses, including restaurants, are built on transnational network connecting London to Vietnam and the broader diaspora. So places like Ngon Ngon are more than just restaurants. They're a hub of communities and entrepreneurships. When I bite into this boom, I am also tasting how refugees' journey, family businesses, and global connection made Vietnamese food part of London's everyday food space. Before trying Japanese food, I walked through Portobello Road Market, one of London's most iconic street markets. Portobello is famous for its antique, vintage stalls and fresh produce, but it's also a place where global street food cultures collide. Japanese food in London feels totally normal now. Ramen, sushi, katsu, curry, but that wasn't always the case. Food historian Karazina, in her 2005 article From Ethnic to Hip, Circuits of Japanese Cuisine in Europe, explains how Japanese cuisine in Europe shifted from being an exotic ethnic food to a fashionable, even health-conscious choice. She focuses on cities like London, where Japanese restaurants went from niche spot to mainstream chains. My bowl of chicken yaki udon in a casual place in Notting Hill is a part of that story. Next up is Nigerian food, agusi soup with fufu at a niche on Oxford Street. Sanayan writes about how Nigerian migration has reshaped London in his 2014 article, The Nigerian Diaspora and the Transformation of London's Cultural Landscape. He highlights areas like Peckham, sometimes called Little Lagos, where Nigerian restaurants, shops, churches, and music venues have built strong cultural hubs. Even though I'm eating in central London, dishes like agusi and fufu has traveled through those diaspora spaces. Nigerian cuisine is now part of London's mainstream food scene, just like Afrobeats and Nigerian fashion are part of pop culture. London isn't just influenced by Nigeria, it actively showcases Nigerian creativity. Finally, I end the tour with soy sauce fried chicken at Koba, a Korean restaurant. Korean food's popularity in London is closely tied to the Korean wave, or Hallyu. Dao Young-jin in Hallyu 2.0, The Korean Wave in the Age of Social Media, argues that social media turned Korean pop culture from K-drama and K-pop to K-beauty and K-food into a global phenomenon. London's Korean community in places like New Malden help establish supermarkets and restaurants. London isn't just one cuisine or one story. It is a city where you can taste the history of empire, migration, and global media in a single day of eating. And honestly, it tastes pretty amazing. Thank you for listening.